How do you prepare against sudden violence? The answer to that lies far in advance of the event. Imagine you're out with your friends, you're out with your family, you're on town, you're doing your thing, you're minding your own business. Suddenly, out of nowhere, someone grabs at a purse, grabs at a bag, grabs at you. Next thing you know, there's knives involved, people are getting stabbed. How do you prevent against something like this? If we take the situation that just happened in Israel, there were people at a rave, they didn't have their normal clothes on, they had rave clothes on. They didn't have normal kit that you can EDC daily with them. They were already behind the curve. So how do you prepare against stuff like that? That kind of preparation has to happen far in advance of the event. I loved going to dances and raves and things when I was a kid, but I can't see myself doing that as an adult. Part of the reason now is I am responsible for the safety of my family, my children, and those around me. And I'm not willing to let go the tools that I need in order to achieve that safety level. Coming at this from the perspective of a former state and federal law enforcement officer, a former combat veteran, over the years, I've come to notice a few things that really stick out. First, you gotta have the tools. You gotta have communication. You gotta have self-defense. Whether that's skill set, weapons, firearms, whatever it is that you need, you have to have access to those tools. Because if you get ambushed, you need to gain the tactical advantage back with violence of action that exceeds the level of violence of the ambush. That's the only way to reclaim your initiative when something like that happens. Some of the tools that I like to use, of course, are communications, firearms, law enforcement, experience, martial arts training that I've had over the years. But primarily it's situational awareness. Situational awareness is having the ability to recognize a situation for what it is, as opposed to staying in your comfortable place where you assume nothing bad is going on around you. Prior to working in law enforcement, I didn't notice drug deals going on around me. I didn't notice things happening in my peripheral because I was concentrated on the here and the now, the cell phone, the person I was talking to. After having worked in that realm for many years, I noticed these things at a much higher level. Primarily because I take my focus away from what's here and I push it out. So one of the best things that you can do is pay attention to your surroundings. And I know that seems like a simple answer, but you need to start looking at things and seeing them for what they are. If it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. And I say this because many people think, oh, you can't tell who's a criminal and who's not. Kinda. But the reality is you can look at people and say, that person's probably going to be more shady than that person. That person doesn't fit. And I'm not talking about ethnicity or some sort of superficial thing. I'm talking about criminal behavior, criminal trademarks, gang signs, specifically gang-related tattoos. It takes some time, but spending time in an environment where gangs are active or where terrorism is active, you start to notice the tail signs. One example in Afghanistan, everyone had AKs, but not everyone had a pistol. Culturally, using a pistol was what the murdering person did. So if we notice someone with a pistol, they're going to stick out, as they should, more so in that environment than someone who has an AK, because everyone had an AK. In law enforcement, one of the main things they teach you is watch the hands. People don't kill you with words, they don't kill you with bad intentions, they kill you with their hands. And if you're not paying attention to the hands, you're already behind that power curve, that learning curve that I was talking about earlier. One example of this is how easy it is to have a weapon inside of a pocket with your hand already on the weapon. If you notice someone approaching, normal people swing their hands when they walk. Normal people will have their hands in their pockets, but people don't hold one hand behind their leg while letting the other hand swing.
A Phoenix police officer was ambushed while responding to a call that ultimately left 9 officers shot.
That should be a massive red flag to you. They've got something that they're going to cut you with, shoot you with, hit you with, or whatever. Pay attention to the hands. The hands will telegraph the actions far before the words or anything else will tell you what's about ready to happen. Some of the other indicators that I really like to do or to talk about are paying attention to things that do not belong. Right now it's kind of cold. I've got a jacket on. If it was 110 and I was walking around with this jacket on, the FBI calls that a clue. That's something you should pay attention to. That's someone you should give wide berth, either because they've got a mental problem or because they're hiding something. Maybe in overseas, this could be a suicide bomber. Maybe here locally, it could be someone that's got a long gun or someone that's stealing stuff. Either way, it's something that you need to avoid. So one great exercise for this is go to the mall, go to a public area, go wherever you want to go today. Spend a little time just watching people and look for the people that don't fit in. The clothing they're wearing doesn't match the environment. They are overdressed or underdressed, and just pay attention to them. Pay attention to what they're doing, who they're talking to. Don't stare them down too much because you might invite that attention, but pay attention to their actions so that you can start training yourself to pay attention to something larger than your little bubble that you're constantly involved in. When we were overseas and we had to get out of a vehicle, there were different zones that they would train us to look for. First off, start with what's on your body, your kit, your firearm, whatever you've got going on. Then look immediately outside the door. If there's an ID right there, or if there's a straight drop off, or there's something that you have to pay attention to, look right there first. Then move out about 10, 15 feet. See if there's a explosively formed projectile pointing at you. Then continue out 100 feet. See if there's someone watching you, someone on a phone that's holding the phone up but not talking. Pay attention to the things that are outside of that ring if you know you're in a bad situation, so that you can identify the threat and act accordingly. A lot of times we put ourselves in bad situations by not paying attention to what's going on when we roll up. Anyone that's ever watched the cop videos, you see the little old lady that wants to ask the cop for directions while he's got his gun out trying to deal with the perpetrator. There are people that are so woefully and blissfully unaware of what's going on around them, they make themselves victims, they make themselves targets. Just pay attention to the things that are going on around you and look at it from a distance and say, maybe I shouldn't walk in on that cop that's got his gun out. Maybe I shouldn't walk into that crowd that's angry in the middle of a protest. Maybe I shouldn't drive down that street. You can even take it so far as to say, maybe I shouldn't drive through this neighborhood. Every city's got that neighborhood. Every area that you go to in the world has good people and shady people. Find out where the shady people are and just don't go to that area. One example of this is I was in Afghanistan a decade plus ago. I spent some time, I met some people. I came back to Afghanistan and told them where I was going. And it was funny to me, the reply that I received, which was, oh, this place, even we don't go to this place. And I thought that was interesting because I wouldn't want to be rolling around anywhere in Afghanistan. But the locals that live there, even they know there are places where they shouldn't go as well. The reason I'm saying this is because in every city, there's a section, there's a place, there's a spot where you just don't belong. And if you can identify those locations prior to going to travel, maybe you're going to Europe, maybe you're going to South America, maybe you're just going to a large city in the United States, maybe you're just going to a small town that's got a meth dealer. You just need to know where those locations are and just don't go there. One of the best things that you can do to harden yourself as a target, to prevent you from being a target, is find out where those locations are and don't go there. Now that's easier said than done. I understand that. A couple tools that I like to use are ADT, alphadeltatango.com, neighborhoodscout.com, and crimegrade.org. All that I'm doing is researching where in that state, where in that city, where in that county is the highest crime rates. By logic, that's the place that I shouldn't be. Just like when I go climb mountains or run rivers that I've never been to, I do a little bit of research on Google Earth. I pull it up, I look at the topography, I look at the approach places, I look, where's the boat put in, where's the boat take out? Just like when I went to South America, when I was in the Colombian jungle, I said, if something goes south, what do? My plan then was I go as far east as I can, get on the Amazon River, go south until I run into the city that I knew was there, and make a plan from there. You should have some kind of plan. You should have some kind of idea, and you should game this plan and say, if something goes south, then what? Because what you don't want to happen is in the instance when violence has found you, you're trying to decide, what do I do? You should be running, You should be fighting back. You should be acting out on the plan that you previously decided is the thing that you're going to do. Fortunately, we don't all find ourselves in the situation that happened in Israel this last couple weeks. The reality is there were some things that some people just couldn't do, and sometimes it's your time and it's your day. However, if we can put ourselves in a situation where we can fight back, we have firearms, we have a plan, we have something that we can act out, at a minimum, we're getting ahead of the herd and becoming less of a target ourselves. The way that you can apply this in regular day, next time that you go driving up to a gas station, take that 30,000 foot view, look around, see if there's some guy with an empty can waiting for you to pull up to ask you for money. See if there's a homeless encampment next to it. See if there's someone that does not belong, someone loitering, someone that's just watching for someone like you to walk up and be their victim. And then go to the next gas station. Do this at hotels, do this at different locations. One thing that I like to do when I travel is to stay at truck stops. Some people freak out when they hear that. The reality is I've slept at hundreds of truck stops over the years. It gives me the ability to pull up into a well-lit area where there's people walking around all night long in front of cameras, park my vehicle, cover myself up so people can't see that I'm in the vehicle, and make it look like I'm just someone inside shopping so that I can get some sleep while being guarded by the crowd. There's always some kind of a solution. People don't want to talk about martial arts. Martial arts are an extremely important thing that can help you to learn how to stack danger areas and how to deal with stuff. As an example, everyone's been picked on as a child. They have the little bullies that come with their little friends. The first one comes, the next one goes to this side, the next one goes to this side. Humans will do this habitually. I'm standing in the corner right now. If I had 3 people, I'm already against the curve. I've already lost the initiative. But if I notice them while they're walking up, if I'm able to pay attention and I see them and I step to the side so they're all in a straight line, I've stacked my danger area. It gives me the ability to deal with the first one, then the second one, then the third one, or it gives me the ability to squirt and run so that they don't trap me, they don't stop me. Paying attention to people, paying attention to their hands, paying attention to the gestures in their face will alert you that something's about to happen just a few seconds before it happens. Many times that's all that you need in order to affect the change. Pay attention, keep your head on a swivel. Practice this next time you go to dinner, next time you go to a movie, next time you do something. Game it out in your mind. If someone walks into this theater and starts shooting it up, what do I do? If someone walks into this gas station and starts shooting it up, what do I do? If I roll into this gas station and someone decides to go try to unlock the other side of my vehicle and take the contents of my car, what do I do? Think through this stuff in advance, and it won't catch you unaware when and if it eventually happens. Hopefully this is valuable to you. Hit the subscribe button, leave your comments down below, give me ideas. What's the next video you want to see from us? Thank you for watching. Never ceases to amaze me the amount of things that you can hide within a puffy coat, right? Oh no, I just kept my hands in my pocket because they're warm. You're dead. Pay attention to the hands. Bad words don't kill you. Hands do.
I'm Jason Salyer with Survival Dispatch, and when disaster strikes, will you be ready? Power outages, natural disasters, economic collapse, and the knowledge, the skills, and equipment necessary to protect your family when it really, really matters. You can gain instant access to our team of survival experts, stockpiling food, medical necessities, communication plans, proven techniques to help you get home, shelter in place, or bug out safely. Don't leave your family's safety to chance. Visit survivaldispatch.com to get started.